Welcome to today's Explainer. We're about to take a seriously fascinating journey right into the center of your own mind. We're going to discover exactly how your brain makes sense of the world around you, how you actually solve everyday mysteries without even realizing it, and how you can train yourself to be a much sharper, more perceptive learner. Seriously, we're unpacking the most incredible, invisible tool you carry with you everywhere you go.
Okay, let's dive right into this with a bit of an everyday mystery. Why do two people read the exact same text but walk away with totally different meanings? I mean, you and a friend can watch the exact same movie scene or read the exact same chapter in a book and come out with completely opposite ideas of what just happened. It sounds kind of crazy, right? The words didn't change, the story didn't change, so what did? What's the hidden variable here?
Picture this. Reader A draws one conclusion, while reader B draws a totally different one, both from the exact same clue. How does that happen? Well, the secret is that when you read a text, it's only giving you part of the picture. The author leaves these little breadcrumbs, but you have to actually finish the recipe. Two people can stumble on the exact same clue, but picture completely different things, all because of their unique life experiences. Reader A might be bringing a whole lifetime of camping trips to a story about a forest, right? While reader B has maybe only ever seen forests in video games. Those unique, personal life experiences totally reshape the meaning of the words.
Section 1. Unlocking your mental library and connecting clues to experience. To really wrap our heads around how this works, I want you to take a second and think of your brain not just as a biological organ, but as this massive, beautifully organized personal library. The shelves are towering high, you've got one of those sliding ladders across the walls. This is where all the magic happens when you try to understand anything in life. Your mental library is literally a personal collection of experiences, facts you picked up, and observations about how people behave. Just think of every single past experience you've ever had, every fact you crammed for a test, and every time you've noticed how a friend acts when they're mad or excited. Think of all those things as individual books waiting on a shelf. You've got a weather section, a human behavior section, a history section, and every single time you learn something new, you're just sliding another book onto the shelf.
Section 2. Connecting clues to prior knowledge, or the inference formula.
So, now that we know what this amazing mental library is, how do we actually use it when we're reading a book or just trying to figure out a situation in real life? We use inferences. These are basically educated guesses where you read between the lines to figure out what an author is saying without them spelling it out for you. It boils down to a super simple, powerful three-step formula. Step 1, find the text clues. That's the hint the author drops for you. Step 2, access your mental library. You mentally pull down that specific book of prior knowledge from your shelf. And step 3, make an inference. You just combine the two. You see, clues alone only take you so far. A text clue is basically a locked door. Your background knowledge, your mental library, is the key that unlocks the meaning behind that door. Without the key from your own brain, the clue just stays a mystery.
Section 3. Real-life context clues and putting the formula to work.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the formula works outside of the theoretical realm. Let's see how your brain connects the dots in literally milliseconds. Get ready to flex those mental library muscles. Imagine encountering this clue. She grabbed her heavy coat and scarf. Now, the author doesn't tell us the season, but you instantly access your background knowledge. You know people wear heavy coats in cold weather. So what's the aha inference? It is likely winter or very cold outside. Boom, it's that fast. Okay, next clue. The family prepared a turkey in cranberry sauce. Your mental library immediately jumps right over to the cultural tradition shelf. You know these foods are famously eaten during Thanksgiving in the US. Your inference? The scene is set during Thanksgiving. Final clue. He kept glancing at the clock and tapping his foot. Your background knowledge on human behavior tells you that people act exactly this way when they're impatient or anxious. So your inference is that he's waiting for something incredibly important. See how perfectly that formula works? You get the tension from the clue, and then it's released by the satisfying aha of your own background knowledge.
Section 4. Expanding your knowledge base, or filling the shelves. Now, making those connections feels amazing when it works out perfectly. But what happens when you find a text clue and you're just missing that specific book of knowledge you need to figure it out? What happens when you go to access your mental library and the shelf is just totally empty? Well, the answer is pretty simple. If background knowledge is missing, you must research to understand the clue. You can't just skip it or take a wild guess. To make better inferences, to become a truly great reader, and honestly, to avoid major misunderstandings in life, you have to actively research. If you don't know what a word means, or if a cultural reference totally goes over your head, you have to look it up. You have to actively build and expand what you know.
Now, what's really interesting here is how ancient wisdom actually captures this idea perfectly. Proverbs 18:15 says, "The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out." Just think about those words for a second. Acquires and seek it out. It doesn't say knowledge just magically drops into your head while you're staring at a wall, right? The wise actively go looking for it. They are constantly out hunting for new books to stock their mental library shelves.
So let's quickly summarize why doing this is just absolutely crucial. Building your prior knowledge allows you to interpret situations accurately. It helps you avoid those really awkward, embarrassing, or hurtful misunderstandings with your friends and family. It allows you to understand texts deeply, which makes reading way more enjoyable. And ultimately, your goal should be to grow your mental library daily. Simply put, the more you know, the better your inferences will be in every single area of your life.
Section 5. Education, Morality, and Peace, the HeroesMart philosophy.
As we start to wrap up today's explainer, I want to transition smoothly from intellectual knowledge over to moral knowledge, because stocking your mental library with facts and reading strategies is amazing, but it's really not the whole picture. Our source material today introduces the underlying philosophy of the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner series, and its central thesis is a punchy one. Education without morality will hurt. Let that sink in for a minute. What is the absolute point of being brilliant, of being top of your class, of being supposedly educated, if you just keep making bad choices that end up hurting you or the people around you? Your mental library needs to be stocked with a lot more than just math formulas and reading strategies. This philosophy argues that it fundamentally requires a foundation of biblical morality to guide exactly how you use that education. Because without a moral compass, being smart can actually lead you down some very painful roads.
This brings us to a really beautiful scriptural promise from Romans 8:6-7. It promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. According to this framework, that is the ultimate goal. When you intertwine your deep, growing education with a really strong foundation of biblical morality, it ultimately leads to peace of mind. And for the folks who designed this curriculum, this isn't just a theory. This is the real-life experience they've observed when people actually engage with this kind of holistic spiritual learning.
So, to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought today, your mental library is growing literally every single day. But are you filling it with the wisdom to find peace? Every single book you read, every video you watch, every choice you make is adding another volume to your mental shelves. Make sure you aren't just getting smarter, make sure you are getting wiser too. Keep seeking out that knowledge, keep building those amazing inferences, and we'll see you on the next explainer.